Oh, you're chatting right now. You won't believe what weakness I have right now, Brody.
Don't be mistaken, 1x is a really good character, but also really hard to use. 1x is by far the most isolated killer among the rest, where a majority of the damage comes from their abilities instead of their primary. I mean, it's almost required to have your abilities or else you'll lose every match you'll get into, but realistically speaking, the majority of 1x's abilities primarily give him the opportunity to deal damage, like entanglement and mass infection. But we'll get into that later. I am personally more leaning towards my beautiful handsome King Jonathan Doe, where a majority of your damage comes from cutting off survivors, leading them towards a digital footprint, or just straight up sniping them. But 1x's gameplay is just slightly more different and slightly more harder. It gets a little difficult to make up lost distance with John Doe, considering he's the second slowest killer, and well, the slowest killer in the game right now is going to be the guy we're going to be talking about today. So like, yeah, there's that. I've been playing this game for a while, but not long enough to consider myself old gen, so I can't really go in blind to learn 1x completely hands-free, because I've been playing the game for a while now before I uploaded this video.
Crudy saw me, bro.
You won't hurt him.
I won't let him.
No f***ing sandbagging. All I know is that this dude is pretty strong mid-range and far range. So I'll play a couple of 1x matches to learn the guy as I try to milestone every single killer, starting with the hardest one listed by the game and the community. Okay, hey, small correction. I don't know when this update came out, but for some reason, John Doe is 5 stars and 1x is 4 stars. What? I'm gonna be so realistic with you. I think 1x is significantly harder than John Doe. Realistically speaking, I understand that John Doe doesn't have much versatility to his abilities, considering he only has one that can legitimately damage people during chase. But like, I'm so confused by this. I didn't know this would actually. I'm baffled. Okay, no, 1x is not considered the hardest in the game, but I think considered the hardest in the community. I personally think he's the hardest. It's really hard to aim his attacks, especially entanglement. I'll get onto that later in the video. Just keep watching. I just had to add this. Starting with the hardest one listed by the game and the community, 1x1x1x.
I cast necromancy. Rise.
To start off, this character is incredibly hard to grasp at first. If you haven't dipped your feet into a killer like John Doe, you will have a tough time landing your abilities. With John Doe, it's a lot easier considering your corrupt energy is 3 things at once. It can be used to cut people off, it can snipe people, and you can adjust and aim the damn thing mid-cast. Not only that, you can make a gazillion dollars with it.
Oh my god.
The only problem with corrupt energy is just chance. 1x works somewhat similarly, but instead of doing 3 things mediocrely, it does 1 thing excellently: murder. Mass infection is a piercing projectile that does a whopping 50% while giving you poison, meaning that after getting hit with an M1, it'll just add more damage. A lot of general usage I see of this move is to regain stamina, apply pressure, and try to get a hit on a survivor you're chasing. However, since I'm a day 1 John Doe main, making him overpowered even before the buff, I have a tendency to do something else. Mass infection works so well to apply pressure to every survivor. Survivors trying to save this other survivor you're chasing, mass infection can hurt them really badly, isolating their team. Chasing a gambler, Brody doesn't even have enough time to... Oh, wait, no, he does. People forget the fact that Chance is a ranged stunner, meaning that so long as you're in his line of sight, you're forever in his range. Even from a super far away shot, the cast for mass infection might as well count as a full stun. It just gets worse if you're just that close. This is so devastating that the survivors had little to no pressure on them, since they don't have to worry about a 50 damage ranged ability. Yeah, Chance can mess up all killers up, from buying seconds against Jason to punishing moves that would give killer a massive advantage, like walk speed override, corrupt energy, and mass infection.
He's gashing wound, bro. I'll give you XP, bro. Yeah.
You don't actually realize how much this hinders 1x.
Damn.
I almost forgot to mention, this dude is slow as hell, chucking on too many chickens to the point where he sprints at the exact same speed as the survivors. His only way of making up that speed is with two moves: Unstable Eye, which is an ESP move, and Entanglement. Unstable Eye is boring. It just gives you speed 1 for 8 seconds, which I suppose is useful. Then you do a glorified Jondo though. However, Entanglement is where it gets interesting. If you land this move, survivors are practically stunned for a few seconds, unless they're on console or mobile. I don't know how they do it, but they're cracked at closing those pop-ups for some reason. Regardless, it could be the make or break of someone dying, since getting hit by this move practically guarantees a free hit, while also giving this helpless status effect. What is the issue? It's small, like one Shaletsky leg small. On top of that, aiming it feels like it's ping dependent and very predictable. This move can be cancelled or interrupted, but is very unlikely since it has a very short windup. But it's not as short as Cool Kid's stupid walk speed override, but that's for another video. Against competent lobbies, however, you will rarely, if ever, land Entanglement. Of course, this is mostly a skill issue, but there's nothing you can do to... Huh? Wait. Oh. Hold on, wait, what? Did he just react to my hitbox? Well, I didn't hit him yet, so maybe I can close this distance and... Damn, wait, that worked? Hold on. You mean to tell me that there's more to this character than just aiming to close distance? Huh. Hell yeah. I've only recently discovered this, but if survivors have their hitbox enabled, or hell, even if they don't, when they expect an entanglement, they will react on the spot to even the slightest of movement or the hint of red. Like, I never thought 1x could play with the survivors psychologically. All I've been getting is mobile player 1x's and 1x's that play the exact same playstyle as Jason. This complements everything I've been learning so far, since I could just push them out of a spot, use mass infection to make it seem like I'm going to punish, and then hit someone completely random. With this big of an advantage, I can just snowball it to my favor since everybody needs healing, and everybody's in danger when I'm around. This fundamental principle of pressure to scare everybody when they hear that oh so familiar clicking. Isolating survivors and letting me take them out one by one by one by one. Sorry, I really want to say that. But this small tech almost changes everything for chases. But okay, hold on. I'm gonna step outside of 1x's territory and see if this works with other characters. Well, Cool Kid is the only other killer that can do this. Jondo has windups that can watch the collapse of our universe, only to be stunned by a chance from another universe where Dandy's world was actually forsaken. What?
Oh, Senyata, this is not you! This is not you! It's not you!
Jason, I'm not gonna say anything. But Cool Kid and 1x heavily benefit from this type of psychological tech, I guess, since they step to the side and lose just a tiny bit of distance. Can we go further than this? Can we go higher than this? Maybe, but I'm still learning the character.
You failed!
So far I haven't touched a YouTube video, and I actually never really confirmed any of this works in competitive playstyles. So I'm gonna watch a YouTube video. Hold on, this one. I was bashing Unstable Eye like that? I didn't know I had such versatility. Maybe that's the reason why I somewhat suck with 1x. Well, let's try it, why don't we?
Do something! Do something, Rap!
I didn't realize this move was as strong as it was. I was just entirely expecting for this just to get me an extra hit. No, it near guarantees a kill. At least in the lobbies that I play. They really need to add a pro player lobby. Either that or someone's insulting me or putting a person who literally has 40 minutes played. Like the hell is this type of matchmaking? But regardless, this changes a lot on how I look at 1x. On top of the combo that you can do with the regular primary, even then I don't believe that this is the very end of the character. Is 1x the best character? Excluding that guy, yes. 1x has the ability to hit people through walls and from afar. And realistically speaking, that's just incredibly strong. On top of the minions. Wait, holy lord, I forgot to talk about the minions. 1x has the best chase potential since if he technically lands all entanglement shots, he can just close the distance instantly. Kind of like how getting chased by a competent Jason at the start is just near guaranteed a death, regardless of your skill. The only thing with Jason is that he can still be slowed down, and if your team works well together, they can slow down Jason enough to buy you extra seconds. Not only that, he can't apply pressure to an entire team, since a majority of his moves, despite them being able to hit multiple people at once, primarily are used to just attack one person because, you know, nobody's grouped up in one spot 24/7. However, with 1x, it's already a risk to even try and jump in, since failing to do so would result in a direct punish from 1x. In the 30 matches I played as 1x, I won every single one, technically putting me in a 30 kill win streak. I don't know if it's the lobbies that are playing. Hold on. Let's queue up a match. Hold on.
You failed.
Wait, never mind. It's the lobbies that are playing. But excluding that 1-2 time, come on Spectre, give me a challenge. I want to go against your toughest opponents. That is not a call for a private match, by the way. I am actually very afraid of teams with comms, because Lord, do they suck to fight against. It's not impossible, it just sucks.
We need an Elliot up in here, bro. Give this Dusakar a pizza right now.
If you have a small hint of playing 1x, I'm not even going to try it. Use the information I learned in your next match. Trust me, it's slightly easier than you think unless you're in a really good lobby. However, at the same time, mastering this character means you've mastered everything. 1x is a demon, and I honestly have no suggestions. He doesn't need a buff or a nerf since his entire kit is designed around using abilities that will slow you down but offer great rewards. Mass Infection is a powerful move but can be stunned out of, and missing it puts a huge gap between you and the survivor. Entanglement gives you a speed boost and lets you close the distance near instantly, but at the same time leaves you open to stuns since you have an obvious destination. Unstable Eye is unironically cracked as hell, and Necromancy is a move that just ensures your victory so long as you snowball it enough. In other words, 1x is probably the most fair killer in the game right now. Opinion, I'm sorry. I love playing against 1x and I love playing as 1x. I love dying to him and I love losing as him. There's a ton of things I haven't mentioned, like mass infection spots and probably some other stuff I don't know. But know this, 1x1, x1, x1 will forever be that guy. But never John Doe. Never my goat. Hello. I wanted to thank you for watching through the whole video. Considering it is my first time doing anything remotely similar to this, don't expect the next one to come out anytime soon though. Next video might be on Noli since I could just dive in and learn properly from level 1. But excluding that, my opinions on 1x changed slightly, but I'll just throw that in the description, so check it out if you want to. By the way, I won't purely make Forsaken content, but as of right now, that's what I'll mostly be focusing on. If you have anything to say, negative or positive, please comment it down. Thank you for your time, and you have yourself a good morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Hasamina in the chat.
I don't really think I can go anymore.
Dusakar! What? You almost just died! What?